Hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Because without you guys, well, this just does not work. And I'm messing up here because I don't actually have my headset on here. So much to learn here. And I hope I've got to make sure that we are on at the right spot here. And I'm going to wait here for a second, make sure we've got everybody. Well, hello, everybody. We've got Cowboys Nation, or what's up, Jalen? Jason, how are you doing tonight? We are here in our new set. I'm hoping that everything is functioning okay. I'm still working on the new set and everything else. How's everybody doing? And still waiting for the feed. I do not see anything on the screen yet. Okay. I'm going to hold on for a second to make sure all you guys get in here and see if it's showing up. Waiting for Mark Holmes. Okay, so it's actually needs to be edited. It's actually on the wrong broadcast. Okay, well, guys, bear with me for a second here while I change up something here on the settings because I am an idiot. That's right, I am a complete idiot. Thank everybody for joining in. Um, Still getting everything set up here on the new system. So as I do this, I see I've got a lot of people on here. I've actually got this missed name, so I need to actually change. Oh no, actually it says it right there. Okay, so actually I think I am okay. Bear with me, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy the new set. Wow, we've got a lot of people already in here. You can't hear me? Oh crap. Okay. Still can't. Low volume. Let me turn it up some more. Hold on. Let's go here. Hopefully the output's a little bit better. Low mic, no sound, held for review. Someone must be fucking with, okay. Hold on. Let me turn it up a little bit more. Hopefully that's better, guys. Is that better? Let me go here. Got a little bit of an echo off of that. Okay. Volume is low. Okay. Let me go up a little bit more. Okay. Can't hear me? Is it still too low? Hopefully you can hear me now. Still can't hear me? Okay. Can you hear me now? I see we actually have the sound is low. Still a bit low? Well, it's kind of blowing in my ears right now. Um, Hold on. Let's make sure. Whoa, okay. Didn't mean to do that to you guys. Okay. Still can't hear me. Now it's okay? Okay. I still have to get used to this whole setup here, and forgive me. Um, it's a lot to get used to. Better. Very low. Good. Okay. Hopefully that's it. Okay. Yay. Um, I'm old. I'm technology challenged, and I'm just still trying to um, get used to all this stuff. And let me turn it up just a little bit more and make sure that we're okay. Um, Getting better. Okay. In my ears, it's sky high. And I just don't want to blow you guys away here. Let me put a little more bass in it. Hopefully that'll do the trick. Okay. It's good? Okay. Hello, guys. Thank God you guys are joining me here tonight. This has been interesting. You guys know I've been working here on the set and I've been getting it together. And okay, I've got it right. Okay. Um, I'm still learning how to use all this stuff because it's all brand new to me. I never thought in the world that I would be doing the stuff that we are doing here right now. But this thing, excuse me, is growing like crazy. And forgive me, still have this cold. Um, I never thought we would be doing anything like this, but this thing has been growing and growing and growing. And hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Let me get a little bit of coffee here. Okay, let's get this on out of the way. Congratulations to the Giants. Wow. Congratulations to the Eagles. You're going to the Super Bowl, and you're going to have to try and see if you can win one. And you guys are a little bit too happy right now. You guys are going off like you've already won one, but you know what? There's still one more game left. And it would be a shame to go all the way to the Super Bowl and lose it. Now, one thing I'm going to ask you guys. Now, like I said, I love having people with different opinions. I love to have a conversation or disagreement, an argument, a debate with people that don't agree with me. Who wants to be around with everybody that agrees with you? I enjoy having debates with guys like Shallow Hal and things in here who always just says that Dak Prescott sucks. Tony Romo was the best quarterback ever. I enjoy having the debate and stuff with Vosh, although I really was off my game that night. My father's in the hospital. He's having angioplastic tomorrow. Maybe he'll be able to get out tomorrow and so on. And it was the first time I've ever debated. But there were so many points that I wanted to make, and we just had another one that happened about Jason Garrett. The last 5 years, every number one seed has gone to the Super Bowl, except for, wait for it now, we'll get a drink on this one. Or, what? Maybe not. Joe Boo's locker. There we go. Except for Jason Garrett. Our Cowboys are the only team in the last 5 years that's been a number one seed. Here you go, Joe Boo. And has failed to make it to the Super Bowl. That's not one of those things that you really want to have happen. It really looks bad. We have so many different records out there of ineptitude. Things that you just don't want to be a part of. And unfortunately, Jason Garrett's got them all. But it is what it is. And that's why I'm kind of happy about what's going on right now. Although it looks like we're nearing a deal for Kellen Moore to become the quarterback's coach. I believe we need somebody with more experience. That's not to say that Kellen Moore won't be a good coach. But I think at this point in Dak Prescott's development, you want somebody who's been there, done that, and knows it all. I'm not saying that Kellen Moore can't do that. But I would like to see somebody with more experience. Shout out to everybody who's already joined in. Wow, we're almost at 300 already. Emery Lopez, Cowboys Nation 1994. Cowboys Nation 1994, I've got to do some work with you, man. Shout out to him. Check out his channel. Philly Marshall, Eagle for Life. Yeah, the Eagles are here. Jason, Sane, Don, Dallas Super Bowl 51. Patrick Smiley, Eric Thomas, good grief. But anyway, bringing in Chris Richard. I've got an interesting theory here, and I want you guys to bear with me. I like this hire. I believe he got fired not because of what's going on in the field with the team, because the team clearly doesn't have the same talent they had before. They've lost too many players between injuries and free agency and stuff. And their defense hasn't really been the big problem. What I believe this is, we all know, and I talked about this last year in nauseam, because I thought Richard Sherman was definitely going to be gone because of that Super Bowl where play calling was an issue at the end, where they literally gave the game away. You got Marshawn Lynch. They pulled the Dallas Cowboys. You had Marshawn Lynch. You got a yard to go to get a touchdown. And instead, they pulled a Jason Garrett and passed the ball, and it was intercepted, and that was the game. But there's been hard feelings in that locker room between the defense and the offense since that time. Richard Sherman was truly vocal about the whole situation quite a lot. In fact, it looked like a point that, well, they basically said he's on the trading block, that they were looking to get rid of him, move him to get that thing quieted down because he was the leader of that circus. And I believe that they're going to be doing a lot of players that are going to be going, and I think getting rid of the defensive coordinator was the first shot in that. Now, I like him because it's an aggressive style. For him, going to defensive back coach as well as passing coordinating coach is a step down. But I think he is in the works to become the defensive coordinator. And I believe if Rod Martinelli decides to retire, or maybe they make him assistant head coach, or maybe he goes ahead and says, you know what, I don't want to retire, but I want to reduce my workload because of my hip and everything else. And he becomes the defensive line coach. I'd be good with that. And I also believe that some of those players that really like him may be looking to follow along. Earl Thomas said, come get me. Well, they came and got your coach. Maybe he is next. Now, some interesting things. I posted a video. I was getting the stuff set up. I just literally got this mic in the mail 30 minutes ago. I've got the new lighting that's coming in hopefully tomorrow, so we'll finish getting this set up. But Stephen Jones has just fired the opening shots. Voodoo Alpha, hey, man. How many years will it take to fix Dak's footwork? I don't think it's going to take that many years, okay? We'll get to Dak in a minute. We're dealing with Dez right now, but thank you for the super chat. I don't have a pin to add you to the drawing, and which means I need to get one. Oh, Lordy. Voodoo super chat. Bear with me for a second, Voodoo. Hang on. Sorry, guys. I need to get a pin so we can add Voodoo super chat to the drawing. Okay, we're doing a drawing at 9:30, and want to make sure everybody's in there. His question was, how many years will it take to fix Dak Prescott's footwork? I don't believe it's going to take that long to fix his footwork. I think another good offseason. Remember, he's only in his second season, okay? It's going to get better. And quite frankly, like I said, we'll get to him in a minute. Stephen Jones. Stephen Jones has basically done the first shots against Dez Bryant. Stephen Jones has basically said that Dez Bryant's outbursts on the sidelines are a distraction for the team. EB. Okay, EB. EB's added to it. Thank you very much for the super chat. It says that Dez Bryant is a distraction on the sidelines. Thanks, Cowboy TV Nation. The Godfather. I don't know about the Godfather, okay? Maybe the grandpa, but we'll talk about that another time. Here's what I think this is. Stephen Jones is head of player personnel. When Jerry Jones wanted to get Johnny Manziel, basically it was Stephen Jones who said, we're not doing that. And I know he's looking at Dez Bryant's production, temper tantrums, and more importantly, his contract. $16.5 million. And I had a little Twitter thing with Mike Fisher about this because Mike Fisher says, they're not looking to have a divorce with Dez Bryant. If you cut him now, he's $8 million cap cut, cap savings. Not the best amount in the world. But if you make him a post-June 1st cut, designate him one, you can cut him immediately, but make him a designated, you can't use the money until June 1st. You save $12.5 million. Your dead money is only $4 million. It doesn't sound like a whole lot of money, but when you think that Taco Charlton's rookie contract cap hit was only $2.1 million, you can sign your whole rookie class. Odell, too. You can sign your whole rookie class for about $8 million. That other $4 million, you can get another player in free agency. When you look at Tyron Smith's contract, his initial, it's $96 million contract, the first year it was only $5.1 million cap hit. Almost gives you enough money to do a long-term deal with, say, Zach Martin, or maybe a DeMarcus Lawrence with some of that $18 million that we have right now. So you have to look at this from the dollar and cents standpoint, because Dez Bryant is 10% of your cap. You've got to get 10% of your cap production out of him. We're not getting that out of him. So, I believe that Dez Bryant's days are numbered. I think that it's done. It's over with. He's gone. It's sad because, everybody loves his passion. You love him. Patrick Smiley, if you want to do a super chat, you can donate. Or if you end up going to the top of my YouTube channel up here, there's a blue P. And if you click on that, that'll go to PayPal, and it can do a donation directly there. And what I've been doing with all the donations and stuff and super chat money, as you guys see, is upgrading the studio, and I hope it looks a lot better than what we had before. Hope the sound is better, and as I get better using this, I think it's going to be really, really good. We've got the extra TV that's going to be here, where we're going to be bringing in a guest tonight, a fellow YouTuber out there who's just getting started up, but we're going to show him some love, and I'm going to see how well this works, and hopefully this will become a really good show for you guys. So with Dez Bryant, that means you've got some money that maybe the Cowboys will change their philosophy a little bit, and they'll say, okay, we can get that money there. We can get the money for Orlando Scandrick. We can get some money from, say, Tyrone Crawford. All of a sudden now you've got some money to say, hey, maybe we might want to get an Earl Thomas. Maybe we might want to try and get another wide receiver. Maybe we'll get a veteran offensive lineman that'll go in there. And if you can get a piece or two like that, that's all of a sudden going to open up that draft even more with those 10 picks that you have. You can start looking and saying, we can take the best player available. Yeah, Maverick won. How about them Eagles? Die, Eagles, die. I'm sorry, fly, Eagles, fly. Yeah, it's going to be a rough time for me, guys. For Friday, I head to Minnesota, and we know we're going to have tons of Eagle fans there. Well, yeah, the Redskins have been talking about. It's so funny, Voodoo Alpha. The Redskins, because I'm here in the nation's capital and listening to Sports Talk 980. They're ready to part ways with Kirk Cousins, and go for a rookie or look for another quarterback. But they're talking about trying to get DeMarcus Lawrence, which means it's going to cost a chunk of change. But the Cowboys aren't going to let him go. They're either going to get a long-term deal or they're going to franchise tag him. But I believe the best thing for them is not to franchise tag, because it's going to be about $15 million. If you franchise tag him and do the tender with David Irving, that takes that $18 million right off the bat, which means you're going to need to either cut a Dez Bryant or a Tyrone Crawford or Orlando Scandrick to get money just to sign the rookies. If you sign DeMarcus Lawrence to a long-term deal, you can make it cap-friendly and kind of kick some of that money down the road a bit and basically make it about a $4 or $5 million hit the first year. The great news is, come 2019, that $9 million that we have to pay Tony Romo in dead money comes off. So you have a whole lot more that will be freed up back then. So that's why you go ahead and do that. Kevin, thank you. What's the giveaway? Oh, the giveaway. Okay. Guys, I have been busy as can be trying to get stuff together for the show. But here's what we're going to actually do tonight. It is the very first new Jobu t-shirt. The new Black Sheep. I actually kind of like it. It's got a few more airplanes on it. Jobu's hair looks a lot better, and I love the lettering. So tonight's drawing, we're actually going to do a Jobu t-shirt, and to whoever ends up winning. The proceeds, of course, go to helping us redo the studio. There's a couple other things that I need to get in here as well. And Kevin, let me get your name added in here real quick. So we've got that situation with Dez Bryant. We also have... There's so much drama. It's like, every day it's like, man, there's nothing going on. I get up in the morning, it's like, what am I going to talk about today? But the Cowboys are always a wealth of topics to talk about. T.O., of course, went off this weekend. Basically, he's still pissed off at Jason Garrett. He's still pissed off about the Cowboys and Tony Romo and Jason Witten and everything else. And he put out a warning for Dak Prescott, basically telling Dak that, Dak, you're going to end up being the fall guy. When Jason Garrett, who can't coach, basically is what he said, who cannot adjust, his offense is putrid. When it falls apart, you're going to be the scapegoat. Well, we've actually seen that because Tony Romo used to be the scapegoat, on the 8-8, 8-8, 8-8. And every time this year that we've had failures, Jason Garrett never takes the blame for it. He'll say, well, I Dak Prescott, we think we'd get the ball out a little quicker or he'd get a better read. We'll look at the film, yada, yada, yada. He doesn't take credit for Claiborne going off and having 6 sacks and Dak Prescott getting 8 sacks. Now, on to Dak Prescott. I'm going to do another video later on where I can really break it down because I don't have the numbers in front of me. I'm just going to go roughly off the top of my head. But everybody keeps talking about Dak Prescott. He's an ep, that he had all those games with no touchdown passes. Well, if you're going to go ahead and use that, then you also need to use the other part of the season. The first half of the season, when he had Zeke Elliott, when he had a Tyron Smith, he had 4 games there with 3 touchdown passes. So when you guys make this argument, he only had, you would think that he had 8 touchdown passes on the season. He had 22 to go with 6 rushing. That's 28 touchdowns. To put that in perspective, Troy Aikman only had 1 season in his career that he had 20 more touchdowns. Let me say that one more time. Troy Aikman, Hall of Famer, 3-time Super Bowl champion, only 1 time had 23 touchdown passes. Every other time it was 15, 17, 13. Not a lot of touchdown passes. Take a look at Matt Ryan, who the year before was Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year. He only had 20 touchdown passes this season. So when you talk about him going from MVP to less touchdown passes than Dak Prescott, let me say it again. MVP to less touchdown passes than Dak Prescott. Matt Ryan is in the Super Bowl. Matt Ryan been in the NFL quite a while. Dak Prescott, it's year 2. So all those guys, yeah, the helmet is it's a Bluetooth speaker. We were rather ghetto with our setup here, and that's where we're getting actually better. When I was doing the phone calls, I was basically playing them through a Bluetooth, so that way it was heard through the speaker. But now, you donated, Patrick. Okay, let me go ahead and add your name. Thank you, Patrick. I appreciate it. We'll get you in the drawing. Patrick Smiley. Okay. Thank everybody for the donations. So it's a Bluetooth speaker, and we were actually playing the phone calls through there. But now that I've got actually the good mixer, the phone is actually hooked up directly to the mixer, so that way the sound hopefully will be a lot better. Like I said, I'm looking to do a lot of really cool things. I've been working with Cowboys Nation, Law Nation, Vosh, Space Cowboy. I've got my boy John, who's going to be working with us. We're getting together a lot of Dallas Cowboy bloggers and things, and we're planning something really, really big that you guys are going to be able to be a part of. So what you're seeing right now for the off season is just the beginning. By the time we hit training camp, we are going to be really rocking and rolling, and we're going to be able to take this show on the road and do everything else. Who was hired? You want to buy one, was just afraid of it. It sounds bad. I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about buying one. You don't buy the Cowboy stuff for quality. Okay. That's funny. Okay. Earl Thomas has to come to Dallas. Well, with the new coach hire, I think that's a definite possibility. Because, you have Rod Martinelli brought some of his players and stuff that he ended up liking, oh, God. He ended up getting cut. He ended up going to Washington, Cleveland. I'm sorry I'm having a brain fart here right now. But generally speaking, a coach will have a few players like Kellen Moore, is Scott Linehan's buddy, and they'll bring them in. So with Earl Thomas already feeling like he's getting pushed out of Seattle, and I got to believe that once he basically said to the Cowboys, come get me, that you are now a cancer in the locker room. your teammate's going to look at you kind of side-eye and kind of like, man, where's your heart at? How the hell could you be thinking about the Dallas Cowboys? We're still here playing and trying to make the playoffs. You're talking about going someplace else. We're still in a dogfight trying to make the playoffs. So I believe he is going to be possibly a cap hit. And I believe they're going to kind of clear a lot of that talent that they have because their salaries are getting high. They're getting a little long in the tooth. The speaker helmet. What, everybody wants the speaker helmet now? You would love for me to make this. Well, I tell you what, Maurice, we're going to be, as long as we get guys like you tuning in on our live streams, we will be here every Monday and Friday night. A lot of people say it's the off season, but here's the thing. The off season is where everything really gets done. And there's so much stuff that's going to be happening because right now, of course, we got the Eagles versus the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Yeah, there's that. We have more coaches that are going to be hired. Looks like Kellen Moore is going to end up getting the quarterback position job. And now we have Chris Richards, who I like him. I think he's going to be a motivator. I think he's going to make this defense a little more edgy, and that's what I think. Do you think we'll sign a capable backup to Dan Bailey just in case? Well, generally speaking, you bring in a lot of guys for kickers, but you don't have 2 kickers on your roster. You can't afford that. But what you do is you bring in a bunch of guys, and you basically have a short list of people that you can bring in. Oh, what's happening, Lieutenant Mathers? Well, I know, Lieutenant Mathers, I'm sure next week, or excuse me, starting Friday, that you're going to be tuning in a lot because we'll be headed to Minneapolis. We'll be bringing you some of the sights and sounds and stuff. We're actually going to be over on Friday getting set up at the NFL Experience. So, you may not be there at the Super Bowl, but we're going to be able to give you some of the sights and sounds, and we're going to cover it a little bit differently than, say, ESPN and all those other guys. So if you get tired of listening to them, hey, you can come check out the Jobu Sports Report because we'll give you some different stuff, so to speak. Voodoo Alpha, 8 sacks, 4 tackles, okay. 3rd and long, okay. Well, Taco, I think, is actually, Voodoo, my man, I think Taco is going to be able to be a big step up next year. I said when he was drafted that he was raw. He had to work on his spin move. He had a lot of things he had to do. He had a lot of talent, but he needed a lot more coaching. And with our defensive line playing as well as they did, he didn't get on the field as much as, say, a T.J. Watt. Because everybody always say, well, we should have drafted T.J. Watt. Well, he's kind of playing a different position, and he started the whole season. So he got twice the snaps of Taco. Taco had about half the snaps of Tyrone Crawford. Taco had 3 sacks. Tyrone Crawford had 4. So when we're looking at cap numbers, and I did a video about this before, you're paying Tyrone Crawford on the cap $9 million. You're paying Taco 2. You got 4 sacks here with twice the plays. You got 3 here. 3 in the last 5 games with half the snaps. Money issue-wise, you go with Taco and say bye-bye to Tyrone Crawford. I love Tyrone Crawford. I've met Tyrone Crawford. Tyrone Crawford has a couple of Jobu t-shirts. But you've got to get away from thinking about football with your heart, and you've got to think with your head. And the bottom line is you can't have 7 or 8 good guys. You've got to have 53 really good guys. And that money has to spread out. So it is 9:30, and we have all of you guys that have donated, who have helped build this. This is the house that you guys have built. I don't have Michael here to actually pick one of these. So let me shake them around. And tonight's drawing is a Jobu, the very first new edition 2018 Jobu t-shirt. And we mix it up real good here, and here we go. Tonight's winner chicken dinner. Garrett Sylvia. Garrett Sylvia, Garrett, Sylvia, you are the winner tonight. Email me at cowboysmark94 so that way I can get your address and stuff on there. Garrett, Sylvia. Wow. You're not related to Jason Garrett, I hope. Just kidding. If you are, nice to know. So Garrett is going to get the very first brand new Joe Boo t-shirt. So congratulations and thank everybody for the support. And it sounds like somebody needs to let the dogs out. And let me just get this. We're going to have a guest on here tonight in a few minutes. And we're going to see how well this all works. Hopefully it does. Question for you guys real quick. How's the sound? How's the look? The broadcast? Is it freezing up at all? Is it streaming pretty good? Let me get your feedback on it. Patrick, thanks for joining in. Go eat. Jackie, how are you doing? Congratulations. Okay. Anthony Betts. Anthony, I love the Chris Richard hired. What I'm hoping, here's what I'm hoping. We're keeping Linehan. We're keeping Jason Garrett. Rod Martinelli, we're not sure what's going to happen or whatever. Last year, we kept all the coaching staff exactly the same. And I think part of the problem is everybody knew exactly what we're going to do. There was no wrinkles. You could take the offense exactly from the year before to this year, and it was the same. So teams knew how to defend it. I think Zeke Elliott came in a little bit fat, and the whole situation was a distraction, so he was never really able to get on track. And with him not eating up the yards the way he was, and with the offensive line being in flux, it almost was too easy for defense. It was predictable. I know when I watched the Eagles yesterday, the Eagles threw so many different looks. You know, they did flea flicker. They did the reverses. They had basically two wide receivers stacked behind each other. One would turn for a screen. The other one would go ahead and basically run interference. They changed stuff up so you couldn't figure out where it was coming from. And I'm worried that if we kept everything the same, again, if everybody's not healthy, we're going to fail. But looking at a guy like Chris Richards, he's going to come in and getting those D-backs playing a little bit more edgy, a little bit more aggressive. You know, you look at guys like Richard Sherman and Earl Thomas and the way those guys played. He's a defensive passing coordinator as well. I think his concept, his theories, and all that stuff is going to start putting in to this defense. It's going to change some. That's why I'm kind of hoping that, I'm still not sold on the idea of Kellen Moore being our quarterback coach. He's still not quite there yet as far as my thinking. I think he's still a rookie. I think, as far as coaching goes, I think you need somebody with more experience there. But we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Like I said, my beautiful wife is actually here, and she's trying some stuff on. I guess she's got a winter coat here.
For you, and you bought a coat.
Here's the thing. Great minds think alike, honey. We're going to Minnesota, to see the Eagles and the Patriots. And so I went out because basically I wear a sweatshirt all winter. When it's 25 degrees, I'm comfortable in just a hoodie. I'm cool with that. But we're going to Minneapolis, and it's going to be a little colder. At least it's supposed to be. But, honey, I was looking at the long-range forecast.
Yes.
It's going to be 39 on Friday. And most of the days next week, it's going to be like 30 degrees, 32. So, yeah. So maybe we're going to have a thaw in Minnesota. Although that might be scary because then there'll probably be more Eagle fans out on the streets.
How much did you pay for that coat?
Okay, we'll talk about how much I paid for the coat when I get back.
Can I tell you how much I paid for this one?
How much did you pay for that coat?
$20.
Okay, the one I got was $30. Okay,
Uh-oh.
So, all right. Anyway, we are actually live here, and my audience doesn't care how much I spent for a coat or how much. You want to show them the coat, honey?
No.
Okay.
I'll let you try it on.
Okay, I'm not going to try it on. I've got 25 minutes left. Paul Alexander. Yes, Paul Alexander is our offensive line coach. Rod Smith, you are 100% correct. He is in his 30s, not very old. He's been a coach for 12 years, and yes, he is the defensive coordinator from Seattle who made the Legion of Boom. So yes, I love that. Dwight, no, I did not see Emerson Wall. Shout out to him. Hopefully he'll make it to the Hall of Fame this year. We'll find out at NFL Honors. I did not see that. Been running around working on this and try not to watch Undisputed and First Take too much because it will literally rot your brain. I'm sure what he said was our offense is very predictable, vanilla, and needs to be changed up a little bit. Is that about the gist of it? Silky Slim, amen on that one. Speedy receivers, we need a guy who can actually get some separation and fake people out. Des Bryant, used to could do that, but between the Butterfinger finger hands and the route running, the injuries and stuff, it's Ed Garcia. I'll make my wife happy. I'll go upstairs and try it on and figure out which one she likes better after we finish the show. And I'm waiting here for this call to come in. Well, Brent, here's the thing. Brent Oliver, I guess you're an Eagle fan. I'm not mad at the Eagles for making the Super Bowl. Don't be mad at your woman going out cheating. Don't be mad at the other guy that she cheated with. Be mad at the one who was out cheating on you. So that being said, don't be mad at the Eagles for making the right calls and changing things up when things went bad with Chip Kelly. They could have stuck with Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly's record actually wasn't that bad. But they looked at it and said, maybe this isn't the right guy. Maybe we need to do some changes to get better. And 3 years later, they're in the Super Bowl. I look at Atlanta Falcons. They were basically kind of where we are. They make the playoffs one year, one and done and out. Not the next year, and so on. Thank you, Rob. I'm going to add you for... who am I rooting for? Oh, God. Rob. Can I say a tie? Because the Eagles and the Patriots. God, I hate the Patriots. I am so sick of seeing the Patriots in the Super Bowl. But it's like taking a bullet to the head or a bullet to the chest. Either one's going to kill you. But I don't know that the world will be able to survive if the Eagles win. You saw how they have literally just trashed stuff. They had to grease down the street lights in Philadelphia to keep them from breaking them down. You got them being arrested left and right, at the game, at the stadium. You got them beating up police horses. Imagine if they won the Super Bowl. Would there still be a Philadelphia left? Because I believe they would burn that thing down. How did you get your refrigerator? Oh. Actually, I canceled that refrigerator. The first time it came in dented. The second time I was supposed to deliver, I took a day off, and they didn't have me on the schedule, so I sat there all day waiting for it. Then they scheduled it for a third day, so they brought another one that was actually damaged. And at that point, I was just like, Home Depot, sorry, forget about it. When I want to get one, I'll have it delivered to the store, so I'll just come pick it up because I wasted 3 days of time, and I was not going to take a damaged refrigerator as much as they cost. So no, I didn't get that one. So I'm still with the old one that's still keeping things cool. Sign and draft playmakers. Amen on that one. GQ. Definitely want to sign and draft some playmakers, and we do have some playmakers. I mean, let's be honest now. You look around at what we have on this team. You can't say that we are lacking for talent compared to other teams. Seriously, you see so many other teams that are doing so much more with so much less. We are just underachievers. And that's got to change. I'm hoping that Jerry Jones really takes a hard look at what's gone on with the Eagles and see how in 3 years they're in the Super Bowl. Take a good look at the Rams who kicked our ass. That in 1 year, changing coach, they're in the playoffs. And take a look at Buffalo. 1 year, they're in the playoffs. Mark Andrews, that wouldn't be a bad pick. Well, Josh, but I love having it here. It's one of those things that it'll never get eaten because it means a lot that it was given to me and stuff, and I want it on display. Besides, I can't eat this also with the new diet. Shout out to keto. I've actually lost 12 pounds so far. Okay, where are you, my buddy? Let me see if we can get you on here. Hold on, guys.
Hello?
Hey, are you there?
What's going on? Yeah.
Okay, hold on for 1 second. Let me get the TV on. Okay, everybody, we're actually doing something new. You know, it's the offseason and things, although our Cowboys have plenty of stuff that's going on. And if I can get the signal here, what's going on with the TV here? No signal. Hold on. Damn. There we go. All right.
There we go. You can see that.
Okay, so hopefully, guys, we're doing something a little bit different. We are actually beginning to bring in some of the great YouTubers that are out there. Some of them are just getting started. Some of them have been around for a while and things like that. And I want you to welcome in, and I hope this looks pretty good with the TV and things on here. Space Cowboy. Space Cowboy, how are you doing tonight?
I just want to first say I hope your father's feeling all right. And also thank you for letting us take part in your tailgate.
Oh, man, yeah. Space Cowboy came all the way down from New Jersey to go to the Redskin game in the tailgate, and we had a ball there. And that was the first one. We're just getting our feet wet, and we're going to be doing a whole lot more of them. We'll be actually closer to home with you, Space Cowboy. We're actually going to go to the Giant game and tailgate this season coming up. So,
Okay.
So tell me, Space Cowboy, tell everybody about your channel and where they can find you.
Okay, so to begin, I'm a relatively new Cowboy YouTuber compared to Mark. I have about 932 subscribers. You can find me at Space Cowboy 17. You can just look it up here. I'll just put it in the chat real quick because I'm on the chat right now.
Okay. And Space Cowboy is definitely...
There you go. That's my name. It's in the chat. Make sure to go talk, not only myself, make sure to sub up Mark as well because he making me come on the show. I can't thank you so much, Mark. You know, so grateful.
Okay. And Rev Shane, you are added to the list. Thank you very much for the super chat. Yeah. Now, what are your thoughts about Des Bryant? I believe that Des Bryant's days are numbered, and I believe that what Stephen Jones basically put out there today was basically the let you know that Des Bryant won't be back next year. What do you think on that one?
Okay. Well, my game plan with Des Bryant is that you either are going to have to keep him for a year and hope to cut him the following year, but you got to draft a receiver to develop behind him, or you can cut him and you can possibly get a package of receivers. Me personally, I think it would be more effective to cut Des Bryant as a post-June 1st cut so we get more money and get a package, considering the fact that our new wide receiver coach, I believe his name's Sanjay Lal, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
He's had experience with receivers like Dante Moncrief. His only 1,000-yard receiver was Mr. Sammy Watkins. And considering Sammy Watkins' numbers, if he doesn't ask for a lot of money, you could possibly get a package with Moncrief and Watkins, which would probably be more effective than just Des Bryant. And no disrespect to Des, I love the guy. I want him to do great, but with the amount of money we're paying him, what's the point in having him?
Well, you know, basically you've got 10% of your cap is being eaten up by Des Bryant, and you got to have, in order to justify that, if it's not a quarterback, you got to have 10% production, and we are a long ways away from getting 10% production out of him. Like I said, I've always been a Des Bryant fan. Who doesn't like to throw up the X and everything else? But too many dropsies and too much cash. It's bottom line. You can't do that. And if DeMarcus Ware could end up being cut if DeMarco Murray could not be re-signed. What makes people think that that Des Bryant can't be cut?
I think that's huge because what I find hilarious is that people want to defend Dez and be like, well, he's the franchise leader in touchdowns. Well, so was DeMarcus Ware in the sense of he was the franchise leader in sacks. So why can we cut him but we can't cut Dez?
Exactly, right. And DeMarco Murray was the NFL rushing champ, so, they let him go to Philadelphia. Of course, there was rumors that he would like to come back and stuff, but I think he's got the Philadelphia stank on him now, so I don't see that ever happening again. So when you were watching that game this weekend and finding out that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to the Super Bowl,
Okay.
How did you feel?
To be honest with you, I wasn't surprised that they defeated the Vikings. I think what surprised me more so was the score, and considering that they scored 38 unanswered points. Because if you paid attention to the game, the Vikings were rolling on the first drive. That pick six, Minnesota just got deflated, and they never got back in the game. I will tell you this, I already knew that once New England won, they were going to win the Super Bowl. I don't want to be disrespectful to some fan bases, but in all seriousness, considering what they did against that Jaguars defense, I don't see how they can't defeat Nick Foles and the Philadelphia Eagles. I can't see how they can't beat that.
Well, you know what? I've been sleeping on Philadelphia all season. And, I haven't believed in them and things, but I tell you what, they've been doing some stuff. They have been playing really well, and I hate to say it, but they look like a truly well-coached team.
Yep.
They have,
let me put it to you.
Good.
Sorry, let me put it to you this way, Mark. There are 5 things that an NFL franchise needs to do to be successful. First thing, stability, and that doesn't mean just having a tenured coach. That means having a group or a personnel that is capable of ensuring that the franchise can succeed. You need good head coaching. You need to pick up quality free agents. You need to draft well, and at the final part, player execution. If you can complete 5 of those things, you'll be successful in the NFL. The Cowboys have only done 2 of those things, relatively speaking, in terms of being stable and having good drafting. The rest hasn't been so well.
I agree with you on that one. And see, here's the thing that I think the biggest failure has been free agency. We spent $55 million on Brandon Carr. That was the last real big, well, other than Greg Hardy, free agent move that we made. Greg Hardy was truly a disaster. At least they only had him to a 1-year deal, but you missed on that. And then they went the whole other direction and said, you know what, we're just going to kind of get bargain basement shopping. And when you looked at the money that we still are going to be paying Nolan Carroll and DeMontre Moore, who else am I missing out there? But some of these guys that really did absolutely nothing, or they just took up a roster spot, and you've got now a little bit of dead money on it. And I believe that you have to kind of be a little bit of a player. I'm not saying you got to go out the first day and overpay somebody, but you've got to get in that middle tier of free agents on your team. Because I think what's lacking our team because of contracts like Des Bryant is the depth you need when you lose a Des Bryant, when you lose a Tyron Smith for a few games, when you lose a Sean Lee. You can't go from Tyron Smith to Chaz Green. You just can't.
Oh, yeah.
And when you look at somebody like Philadelphia, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, well, I just want to say this, no disrespect to anybody, but this is what kind of angers me the most about what's the Super Bowl matchup more so, is that it came down to good coaching, and, I know you and Bach had that big debate. Bach was, in my personal opinion, I know I did a debate coverage, I said he was more well-prepared, but hey, you brought up some fantastic points, and I mean, I don't know how you can defend the fact that a senior coach did more than a guy that's been with the Cowboys for 10 years. I don't know how you can defend that.
Right. Well, I mean, this should have been the one stat that I should have had in the whole argument. Like I told you, but we said before that clock management was the problem. Was the whole thing of leaving, enough time for Aaron Rodgers to go down and win the game. His whole thing was, well, if you had a defense, it's like, listen, you don't roll the dice on it. If you have the opportunity to kill the clock and get the last score, you do that. You never leave time on the clock for somebody else. But the stat that kills.
Playoff game, Mark, just to make sure.
Yes, the playoff game.
Okay.
The playoff game, or you could end up saying the one in the regular season because it was the same thing. We scored too quickly again.
Well,
So, but the stat that is the killer.
On the playoff game because
The stat
well,
that
let me put it to you this way. In that playoff game versus Green.
I'm listening.
Oh, you good?
Yeah.
Sorry, my internet's kind of weird. As I was saying, so in that playoff game, what happened was the game ended up becoming a shootout, which you never want that to end up being the case.
True.
But what's crazy about it is that I was surprised at how well Dak was playing in that shootout. And I will tell you this. On that final drive, right, we were driving to win the game. And I will admit that, if you look back at that play where we're driving down the field, the first play, I believe, was a completion to Terrence Williams, gets us to midfield. I believe on the third down before we had to kick the field goal, if Dak gets about 2 more seconds, Dez is running probably to the 20-yard line. And I don't have a problem with us trying to go for the win. What I hated about it was that we didn't bother trying to run the ball at least once on the line.
Well, here's my thing. Okay. The way that series went, we spiked the ball on first down, stopped the clock, even though we had a timeout. The second play was an out to Cole Beasley, who went out of bounds. And then you're right, it was Terrence Williams. So we ended up basically taking nothing off the clock. Me personally, you were already in field goal range. Let's run the ball to go ahead, pick up a few yards, get a little bit closer, make sure we're lined up in the middle of the field, let that clock run, take that time out, kick the field goal.
Gotcha.
I mean, to me,
I agree with you. We had to run the ball more. I mean, Zeke was having a monster game considering how much he was averaging. I think he was averaging 5.6 yards a carry.
Right.
And that's what killed the Cowboys was because, I don't want to talk about that final drive. I want to talk about when Dak threw that interception. Why are we throwing a wide receiver screen on 2nd and 1?
Right.
I believe, was it, a 9-yard carry? I mean, we could have easily won the game. I mean, but that comes down to coaching at the end of the day, so.
Fried fish taco, I like that. But yeah, I still believe that we have a lot of learning to do as far as our coaching staff goes. And hopefully, maybe we'll get it. Maybe bringing in some different coaches, I think it's going to be a difference. Like I said, Chris Richards, I love that hire. Bringing in some people with some different views instead of everybody who's just a Scott Linehan yes man. Maybe we're going to have some people who are going to say, hey, this is how we did it elsewhere and was successful with this guy. Or we can get into the ears of different players and get them off of their comfort zone because clearly when you have the same coach year after year after year, you know exactly what the coach is looking for and you know how to get over. You get in somebody new, now I got to play and perform for this guy. And, when I look at somebody like what Brice Butler did, Brice Butler basically putting a gun to the Cowboys' head saying, if I'm not a starter, I don't want to be here. You know what? Then go bye-bye. Because to me, you need to earn the position on the field. Putting somebody on the field just because they're the guy is BS. Because when you go through, had Seattle followed that thing, Russell Wilson would have stayed the backup. But Russell Wilson outplayed, and I can't remember who the veteran that they originally signed was. He outplayed him so well. It was like, we got to get that guy on the field. We know we're paying this guy $6 or $7 million, but this rookie is the real deal, and that's the guy we've got to play. Space Cowboy.
Oh, yeah, I remember him.
Okay, Michael just came into the house. Yeah, so to me, the whole thing of Brice Butler saying that I just need to be named the starter, well, dude, your numbers don't warrant it. I mean, you had some pretty good games, but, for us to say, okay, you are our guy, buddy, no, you need to earn it.
No, he can go to Cleveland. He can go to Cleveland Browns.
Will Randy Gregory be reinstated? Well, that's a good question, and I haven't heard that much as far as what he's done. I actually heard a rumor that he had failed another test in there. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that, but I heard a rumor about that.
That is what surprised me.
So I'm not sure how that's going to go, and the thing you have to wonder is, how is he going to be being out as long as he's been out? So I'm not sure that we should go ahead and hitch our horse to Randy Gregory, pin our hopes on that. Right. You're right. He had Brice Butler was about 200 or 300 yards short of Terrence Williams, and Terrence Williams didn't exactly wow us last year. So, yeah, there's that.
We gonna start at Browns. Will start.
We only have about 5 minutes left, Space Cowboy. What in your mind is the one thing the Dallas Cowboys need to do this offseason?
Oh, that's easy.
What is the one thing that would be the make or break thing that you say, if the Cowboys do this, I feel so much better?
I'll get rid of Des Bryant.
Okay, Mike.
Distraction.
Michael, we'll get you at the desk next show.
If I had, if I had
Des Bryant.
anything to get out of this all season, fire Garrett personally.
Well, okay. We know that one's not going to happen.
But I know realistically, me personally, on a realistic note, I'd probably get rid of Des Bryant because if I can get more talented receivers, I'm not saying Des is not talented anymore. I still think he has something left in the tank, but
yeah.
if I can get at least 3 more receivers for that kind of money, or at least 2 that can do the same amount of production he's doing, I would do that. And let me just put it to you this way. I know how you talk about how you're all old and stuff. Well, I'm real young. I have not seen the Cowboys make it to an NFC Championship game. I've never seen the Cowboys play in a Super Bowl. So I think it's interesting because I have a completely different perspective on some things. But, you know, and that's what is a huge glaring issue for Jerry Jones is that you're going to now have a new generation of Cowboys fans that I'm in that don't know what it's like in those glory days or ever lived that. All we're going to know is we're a mediocre franchise.
And then, honestly, that's what we've been for 20-some years now. See, for me, I was born the year of the Ice Bowl. I don't remember that game, but I remember the clips. I do remember the Cowboys going to their first Super Bowl against the Colts and them missing, losing on the field goal. And I remember the victory against the Miami Dolphins. Yes, I am that old. And it was something that you expected every year for them to be in the playoffs. And, even though we lost 2 to the Steelers, it was something you got used to. And even in the 80s when we didn't go to any Super Bowls, Danny White had us to the NFC Championship game 3 years in a row. And we were battling out. This is back when the Redskins were good, too. And the feeling, the air was literally electric when it was Redskins-Cowboys week. The trash talking that was back and forth. See, you guys who have only lived through free agency, you have to understand that players stayed with the same team their whole career. So you always knew that Randy White, the Manster, was a Dallas Cowboy. And he hated the Washington Redskins because the Washington Redskins wanted to take what they had. So when they got on the field, it was like war.
Let me put it to you this way, Mark. I think it's kind of funny how some people are going to go over the Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl in X amount of years, which I think is baffling. But there have been longer Super Bowl droughts than what the Cowboys have had.
Oh, without a doubt.
Had a 30-year Super Bowl drought.
Yeah.
I think the Steelers had almost a 30-year Super Bowl drought as well. I mean, people don't realize it's about right place, right time.
How about the Eagles? Space Cowboy. Space Cowboy. How about the Eagles?
New England. Yeah, exactly.
How long were they since they went to their first Super Bowl?
New England was like Siberia in the NFL world, but until Belichick and Brady came along, and I will tell you this:
right.
I got New England winning. I don't think the Eagles are going to put up a good fight. That I can tell you.
Well,
if you go by statistics, they have a chance.
Yeah,
because the New York
Giants
won their first Super Bowl against them with the hurt Tom Brady.
So, at 9-7.
So it's like it's possible.
Let's put it there that
possible.
The Giants were a wild card at 9-7 and went on a run. So
and he set out the next year.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah.
So, Space Cowboy, I'm going to let you get your final thought in and make sure you tell everybody where they can find you. And everybody, Space Cowboys, one of the newer YouTube channels out there. You can see he knows everything that he's talking about. Be sure to go ahead and show him some love and stuff. He's real close to getting to 1,000. Let's see if we can push him over 1,000 tonight. Space Cowboy?
Let me put it to you this. We got 303 people watching. If you go on my channel, if you see a little orange icon where it says Space Cowboy, if it is orange.
Uh-huh.
If everybody goes there and clicks subscribe, I could hit 1,000 by the end of the stream.
All right.
Plain and simple. But that aside, on a very serious note, first I want to thank Mark for having me on. I think that it's amazing that first I remember watching Mark's streams when I had like less than 100 subs. Now I'm talking to him.
All right.
You're in 1,000K, and I don't know what to say. I mean, this is amazing. But I will say that I've never been to Dallas. And people want to get on me for that. I do live in New Jersey, so people get on me for not going to Dallas, being this quote-unquote fake fan. But hey, I'm going to love the Star no matter what. I don't care if it takes until my 50s for us to win a Super Bowl. I will still be there repping the Star.
How was that one dude?
Well,
How was that
here's
one time?
what I'll say on that, and we're about to get out of here, is I believe, all these people will say that you can't be a real Cowboy fan unless you're from Dallas, and I say that's a bunch of bull crap. Because for my man to be in New Jersey, okay, with the Giants there, with the Eagles around the corner, and showing his pride in being a Dallas Cowboy fan, like me being in Washington, D.C. area with the Dallas Cowboy flag, reaping the star, you're putting your life at risk. And that, my friends, is the definition of a true fan who is a fanatic. The name of the channel, one more time, is Space Cowboy 17.
Space Cowboy 17, yeah.
All right. So with that being said, guys, I got to get out of here. I've got some stuff I got to take care of my dad. Thank everybody for all of the well wishes and things, and hopefully everything will come out well from tomorrow. And thank everybody for the super chats and donations and stuff, because you can see we are growing here. And if you're interested in some of the new Jobu t-shirts, I have a few of those on my cowboyjobu.com if you want to order some and all that. And all the proceeds go right back to this channel, because we're trying to make this something special for everybody. I'm Mark Holmes. This is Cowboy Jobu, and Space Cowboy 17 joined us today.